Australia's first Christmas. You won't believe these amazing 10 facts from history about Australia's first Christmas. Do you know what the first Christmas in Australia was like? It's an interesting piece of history that is often forgotten, but it's full of interesting and fascinating stories. In this blog post, we'll take a look at 10 amazing and fascinating facts from history about Australia's first Christmas. You won't believe some of the things that happened during that special time so long ago. Get ready to learn something new and be amazed by these stories from history. If you stay to the end, there's an extra special fact that you might just find very interesting. This is Reminisce with Terry, and welcome to all of my subscribers, and particularly a great welcome if you are new to the channel. One, they lived in miserable conditions. 11 months after settlement, the makeshift New South Wales colony at Sydney Cove was a crude and lonely collection of huts as convicts and Marines marked their first Antipodean Christmas. We now have 2 streets, if 4 rows of the most miserable huts you can possibly conceive of deserve that name. A female convict wrote home to England describing the Rocks area in November 1788. Windows, they have none, so that lattices of twigs are made by our people to supply their places. 2. It was a lonely existence. No news, and certainly no gifts or greetings, had reached the colony from London since the first fleet's arrival on January the 26th, 11 months ago. To exasperate the loneliness, only one ship, the small brig Supply, bobbed in the harbour. The last 2 merchant ships, the Golden Grove and Fishburne, had sailed for England in November, leaving a tiny British settlement of some 1,000 convicts and 300 officers and their wives stranded at the end of the earth. 3. Memories of the Mayflower and disaster. It had been a tough 11 months with crops failing and 103 deaths, including 9 Marines, their wives and children, and 94 convicts and convict children. 4. God played a part. Christmas Day began with an open-air church service held by the Church of England, the Reverend Richard Johnson. Soldiers and their families attended, but most of the convicts showed little interest. Mr. Johnson also officiated at the baptism of Sarah, daughter of convicts William and Mary Eggleton. I wonder if they're related to Joel Egerton. And also at the marriage of Susan Gibbs to John Forrester, in the presence of William and Mary Worsdale. 5. Christmas presents for a bit of rompy-pompy. 2 convicts had celebrated Christmas Eve in sexual congress, which also secured them a Christmas gift, as noted by an observer. Amelia Levi and Elizabeth Fowles spent the night with Corporal Ploughman and Corporal Winstead, in return for a shirt each. 6. Could it get any worse? Well, yes. 2 bulls and 5 cows that had arrived with the first fleet escaped from their enclosure and disappeared into the bush. This left the colonists without milk, butter, or cheese until the second fleet arrived in 1790. 7. White Christmas? No. John Cobley in Sydney Cove, 1789 to 1790, does not mention if the temperatures were recorded for Christmas Day, but lists the recorded temperatures for Monday the 27th. At 9 a.m, it was 85 degrees Fahrenheit. At noon, 104. At 12:30, 107.5. From 1 p.m. until 20 minutes past 2, it was 108.5. At 20 minutes past 2, 109. At sunset, 89. At 11 p.m, 78.5. Definitely a different Christmas to what they were used to. 8. Let the children suffer. The returns in the journal by Surgeon White of the sick. Marines under treatment 27, convicts under treatment 77, convicts unfit for hard labour because of disease 57. Deaths, Marines, wives and children 9, convicts and convict children 94. Christmas was not a great time for the convict children. John Hudson, the youngest of the boy convicts, was only 13. Starvation. Before September, rations were 8 pounds of flour, 5 pounds of pork, 3 pints of peas, and 6 ounces of butter. By September, it had been reduced to 5 pounds of flour, 3 pounds 5 ounces of pork, and 2 pints of peas. In November, the rations reduced to 2/3, including every man, from the governor to the convict. Christmas for convicts was not very enticing. Convict rations were much more meagre, with Christmas lunch likely comprising the regular menu of bread, salted beef or pork, perhaps fish and peas, or yellow peas. 10. Cat o' nine tails strikes. The only evident goodwill displayed on the day was extended to convict Michael Dennison, who had stolen a pound of flour from Martha Pugh. Dennison was sentenced to 200 lashes by the whip, but being Christmas, only 150 lashes were delivered. Finally, a fun fact. Is Australia full of criminals? Approximately 162,000 convicts were transported to Australia from England between 1788 and the 1850s. 20% of all Australians can claim convict heritage. When you think about the inauspicious start from that first Christmas, those convicts and descendants have built a pretty good country. Their hardships and the settlers who arrived after them allow we Australians to enjoy the most pleasant of Christmases. Merry Christmas.